So this video is going to go over an entire service delivery guide, exactly how you can get great results for your clients, whether you're running an agency, an SMMA, any service-based business. And I'm genuinely going to cover every single thing that you would need, from how to actually onboard the client, how to actually set the expectations, how to get results, how to actually test the results, see if it works, scale it up, duplicate it, have other people do it for you, and pretty much get to the point where essentially you just have a machine where you put people into it, they get onboarded, they get results in a systemized, reliable, predictable fashion. Your clients are happy, communication's good, and they end up just staying on for a very, very long time, right? You'll have great retention using this. And every principle, every tactic that I talk about here, I wish that I knew when I first started out, because when I was running my agency, and if you don't know who I am, my name's Ethan Welby, I grew two 50K per month agencies, and now we're transitioning into a 7-figure consulting model, where in the past, I was at the point where, I had the bad client results. I was doing everything myself. I was just figuring it out. I was so scared of, actually working with these clients. I had, people angry. I got bad results, right? It got to the point where, I'm working with, let's say 10 to 15 clients, and I'm too scared to even open Slack, right? To just see the messages from them, because I knew it was going to be bad, because I knew the results weren't good, right? I had anxiety just going onto client calls, because it was like, oh, they're going to shout at me, what they're going to say. And all of this is just happening at the same time. And you get so overwhelmed, you may be feeling burnt out, and it could even be at the point where your clients are asking for refunds, right? This is probably the biggest indication that your results aren't there, is where clients just want their money back because they aren't getting the results that they want. So all of this, it causes you to actually resent your clients. It makes you not want to work with them. And most importantly, it makes you not want to work on your business. You think, oh, this isn't my passion. Oh, I'm burnt out. But in reality, it's just because you're not getting great results. And it's fine, because with this guide, it took me to the point where, my clients are getting great results. I posted a video the other day where I get on coaching calls, and the first 10 clients I join, they say, oh, I signed a few clients, I got these wins, I made this money, I'm booking all these meetings. I like my clients, I like the business, I know them in person, we speak all the time. It's a great relationship. And essentially I got the business to a point where the entire delivery is just a machine, right? It's just straightforward, in and out, and they get great results, they're happy, and you make a ton of cash flow in the process. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to walk you through things in a lot of detail. And honestly, you can click off, you can watch one of these 3 best cold emails, or 5 tips to start an agency, 5 beginner investing tips, all this stuff. You can click away by all means, but by watching this video, by giving it your full attention, genuinely, it will be one of the highest ROI things that you could do for your agency. Because if you don't get results, you won't have a business. You literally don't have a business. So by all means, as you're watching this video, take notes, implement it most importantly, and tell me how the results are in the comments as soon as you do it. Now, step 1 is going into onboarding. This is where you first sign the client. And look, this video isn't going to explain how to sign clients for your agency. I have tons of video explaining how to do that without case studies, without money. So just search, Ethan Welby, how to sign clients without case studies. You'll find that. But step 1 is onboarding. Now, this is assuming the client has agreed to sign up, whether it's on a retainer, whether it's on performance, whatever it is, they've agreed to sign up. So the first thing that you're going to do while they're on the call with you, right? While you're on the sales call, is you're going to take the payment. So you're going to send the payment link, right? Whether it's Stripe, whether it's something else, whether it's Wise, anything. And you're going to get money into your bank account as soon as they say yes, right? You're not sending them an email after, you're not doing any of this. You need to get it on the spot, because it's going to happen so many times. You send the link after the call, they forget about it, you have to follow up 10 times, they don't even sign up eventually, and you just waste all this time. So as soon as they agree to signing up, I say, perfect. So in order to get started, would it be okay if I just, send the next steps? They'll be like, yeah. Then I'll send the payment link. I'll say, perfect, just send the payment link through. Mind just checking if it works. They check it, and they literally just pay on the spot, right? In many cases, people have paid me $5,000 to $7,000 upfront on a call right there, right? So don't worry about any of that. So you collect the payment. As soon as that's done, you know that they are officially a client, because now they've paid. What you're going to do is you need to have a communication channel. And what I recommend is something called Slack, right? Literally just Google Slack. It's a communication tool where you can actually speak to people in there. And you're going to make a new channel for them, add the client to the channel, right? And then this is where you're going to communicate completely. It's not like you're going to use LinkedIn, you're going to use Instagram, you're going to use Microsoft Teams, you can use WhatsApp. This is the last thing that you want, because if your communication's all over the place, you're going to miss things. So every single client, you set the terms, they're going to be in one location. We use Slack for all of our clients, and we manage like 30 at once, 30 to 50 clients at once. So get them in Slack, send them an invite, make sure that they get it. So you're doing all of this on the call. You send the invite, you make sure they join, they get in, perfectly fine, done. Then at that point, after they're in the channel, you can comfortably end the call. And then from there, you're just going to mention that in Slack, in whatever tool that you're deciding to use, whether it's Slack, WhatsApp, Teams, you're going to send the next steps. And what those steps are is the contract, and then also the onboarding process. So you can end the call, you're going to go into Slack and you're going to send them a message saying, it's great to have them on board. We're looking forward to getting you great results. In terms of the next steps, what they want to do is want to book an onboarding call, right? And what you do is you create a Calendly event, you send it to them, they schedule the onboarding call, and then you eventually get on the call, and then I'll give you that in the next steps. But the key point here is that they've just signed up, they've just paid you however how much money, right? Whether it's 1,000, whether it's 10,000, they've made a big commitment, and now is the most important time in the relationship. If you mess this up, they're going to doubt the entire relationship. If you get this right, they're going to have confidence that you are the person that's going to solve their problem. So what I want you to do here is really take effort into this. And what I mean by this is don't send something with a typo, don't forget something, do it all now, do it quickly, make sure there's a clear next step. And what we're doing here with the onboarding call is we're making sure there's a clear next step. So send this to them on your communication tool, they're going to book in, and now for them, it's like, okay, cool. Anything that happens until the onboarding call is just a bonus, right? They don't expect anything. So in this time, before they book the call, you're going to prepare everything. And I'll tell you what to do now. So you're obviously going to send the contract. If you don't have a contract, you can just get one from me. Just leave a comment or click the link in the description. You can book a time and I can walk you through all this stuff. But send them a contract. They're going to sign it. Perfect. And you can use a tool like DocuSign or HelloSign. They just sign it digitally. And then what you're going to do in the meantime is you're going to get everything ready for the actual onboarding call. So what this looks like is whatever you're doing on the back end for them, delivery wise, whether it's ads, whether it's outbound, just start setting it up in the back end, right? So whether it's buying domains for your emails, whether it's setting up their Facebook ads, all of that, just get that. And if you're in a situation where you need information from them, like let's say logins, whether it's assets, branding, or logos, things like that, what you can do is you can create an onboarding form. So what I want you to do is you want to go into Google Forms, right? Just search this up and then make a questionnaire based on what you need. So essentially you can collect everything that you would need from the prospect beforehand, and then on the call, just discuss any final things. So let's say you need their email, you need their logins for their Facebook ad manager, you need their logo, you need case studies, all of that. Just make that in Google Forms, and then you're going to send this to them as soon as possible. So while they're waiting for the onboarding call, you can just mention that in order to get the information as soon as possible, complete this form. It'll give us everything that we need, and then we can go from there. So now we've scheduled the onboarding call. We've got the onboarding information from the forms. They're in our communication channel. Everything's organized there. You're doing great. The next thing is to set expectations. Now, people say this all the time, set expectations, make it clear, make it obvious on what's going to happen. But what does this actually mean, right? So what we're going to do is before we get onto the call with the client, we're going to decide what the partnership is going to look like. And I'm saying decide very consciously because you are running your business and you're telling the prospect how the business runs, right? Remember this, it's your business. You are telling them how it works. It's not like they are going to decide how the relationship goes. So what you want to do is in terms of expectations are purely how the prospect is going to expect or think the partnership is going to go. So what you want to include, what you want to prepare before the call is how long is it going to take for them to see results on average. So the timelines for everything. How long is it going to take to set everything up? How long is it going to take to do the testing? What results are they going to expect? When they do get results, how is it going to be reported? All these things. They need to know these things because the only cause of an unhappy client is mismet expectations. So when I was running my agency, obviously the done for you lead generation agency, we were charging around $4K a month for this. And the only time that a client was unhappy was when their expectations were, for example, that they would get 10 bookings per week, but they got 8 bookings. Some clients who thought, even 2 bookings a week was great, their expectations were lower. So when we got them 8 or 10, they were over the moon. They were so happy. So what you need to do is set the expectations in your favor. So when you're on the call with them, right, it can be very simple. You can do this with slides, you can do it on a Google Doc, or you can just speak to them like this, is you're going to talk about 4 key things. The first thing is results, right? So what are they actually looking to expect from this partnership? What are their goals? What is the overall objective, whether it's more bookings, more sales, more whatever. The next thing is timelines on these results. So how long is it going to take to get the certain major milestones figured out or completed before you get these outcomes? So this could be onboarding, it could be setting up the landing page, it could be writing the scripts, all of this. The next thing is communication. So how are the results, how is the progress going to be communicated? So you're going to tell them that you only communicate in the communication channel like Slack, and in terms of reports, it's going to be done every single week. This is something we're going to talk about as well. But every single week, you're going to send them reports on what's happening. And notice the language here. I'm saying you're telling them. It's not like you're negotiating on when these things are going to happen. You are telling them because it's your business and you have a system, right? Think of this is the frame that you need to have. You have a system and you are just applying that system to them. If you don't apply it the way that you need to apply it, it's not going to work. So you need to tell them what's going to happen. And they will love this because the reason that they're working with you is because they want an expert who understands it. They want you to lead them in this entire partnership. So by you being proactive, by you saying, this is how it's done, this is the best way, we've done this before, it's perfectly fine, you're in great hands, this is exactly what they want to hear. They want to hear the confidence. So next, you're going to finish the call, you're going to answer any questions that they have. So on this call, again, the function of it is to just go through the onboarding form, make sure that everything's good there, then set the expectations and give them a chance to ask any questions that they have. And then what you're going to do, make sure to do this by the end of this call, is to set a time for a weekly check-in. So just schedule a 30-minute block with you and your client, and every week you're going to review progress towards achieving the goal. Simply put, right? Next, step 3 is updates. So now you're off the call, you're actually setting up the stuff in the back end, writing the scripts, all of that. You know the key milestones of your delivery. So whether this is you've just bought the domains, or you've written the first drafts of the script, or things have just gone live, you know the major milestones. So every single time one of these things happen, I want you to message the client on Slack with enthusiasm that these things are happening, right? And in doing this, you're giving them confidence that you actually care, you know what you're doing, and they have the confidence that things are actually happening. The money that they paid isn't going to waste. And the principle that I want you to take from this is over delivering, right? So I've been in situations where I was first starting out and I thought that clients don't want constant messages. They don't want all these emails and Slacks and all this stuff, because I thought that they were busy and it was annoying and they didn't want this. But in reality, it's what they wanted most. They just wanted to know what was happening. Things are moving. We're coming up with these ideas. We've done this. So very simply, just send them a quick message. Look, domains just been purchased, looking forward to getting things going. They'll be so happy to see this every single time. So step 4 is finding your delivery mechanism. So if you're doing this for the first time, or this is your first couple of clients and you're still really ironing out your delivery process, this is what you're going to do. The alternative of this step is just following your current delivery process. If you already have something working, just do that. It's pretty simple. But if you haven't done this before, then what you're going to do is, at this point, you've already scheduled your weekly check-in, right? So you're going to talk to them every week. We'll talk about how to actually handle that in a minute. You've started the delivery. You've set the expectations. All of that's ready. Now you just need to deliver results. That's literally it. So I want you to just head down, ignore all distractions. You don't go out this weekend. You don't know all this stuff. You stay in your routine, just stay home and work. You're going to figure out how to deliver results for your clients. This is important, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is just understand that your only goal at this point is to find something called proof of concept. Meaning, you found the system, the combination of variables that makes this thing work. And if you can do that, you just have to do that over and over and over and over. So when I was running my appointment setting agency, the proof of concept for a new client was just finding a script that booked a call a day. Because I knew that if I found the winning script, it means I just need to pump more volume into the script and it's going to get the same outcome, right? So that is what I mean by proof of concept. The same as if you're running ads or if you're running an email marketing campaign. You just need to find what's working once and then do it again. So your first goal at this point is to run mini tests to find the winning thing. And the key way to do this is to track your numbers, right? So for every test that you run, you need to actually know the results of these tests. And this is something I help my clients with in our one-on-one program now, in that they try all these things, but they don't have the data, so they can't actually see what's working, right? And once you have the data, it's so easy to improve. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to track all your numbers, run tests until you find the thing that's working. And the final point that I have on this is to actually have a mentor or to have a coach. I'll be completely honest, we do help agency owners to improve their acquisition, their results, literally everything, scaling from 0 to 50K. Some even, scale to 150. But I don't want to make some pitch here. But I will say that by working with someone who's done what you want to do already, it's genuinely the only shortcut to success, because you're taking the 10, 20 years of experience, or the 50,000 they've spent on education, and you're just compressing it down into 30 days. So that is why all of our clients are able to get such insanely quick results, and specifically quick because some people are adding an extra 10K in 60 days. And it's purely because we've done this already and we can just give them the knowledge. So if you want more info on that, you can just check the link in the description. But again, this video is meant to solve your problem without it. So whether it's with me, whether it's with anyone else, having someone who's done what you want to do is going to be the fastest way to learn this process. And you can either do this by just, finding a community, messaging someone for free, paying someone, which would ideally be the best approach, or just, networking with people who've done it in the space. This is how you're going to learn the insights to get your proof of concept as soon as possible. Then step number 5 is reporting and communication. So like I was saying, you've scheduled your weekly check-in. After a month of doing this, you can move to a bi-weekly check-in because you don't need as much communication. So the way that you want to conduct these check-in calls is you firstly want to start off by presenting the data. So what actually happened over the last week? But more importantly, I want you to also present your plans for the coming week. So let's say, in the past, I was running a campaign for one of my clients, and The results, they were okay, but they weren't where I needed to be. Let's say they needed 10 bookings, I've got them 5. So what I could do is to just come onto the call and say, yeah, we only got 5. But like, people don't want to hear that. People are coming to me because they want the expertise, they want the leadership. So I'll tell them, look, we got 5, the goal is to get to 10. We're going to do this, this, and this to get to this point. And if you have any questions on it, just let me know. So it's like, we have a plan. We know what we're doing. We've seen this before. And this is what your clients want to see. They want to see the leadership. So what I want you to do when you go into calls is you want to have the results, what happened in the past, but also what's going to happen in the future. And then your clients, they can ask any questions that they have, but most likely they just trust that you're going to do, okay? And that's literally it. So the other thing on this calls is that you want to actually ask them for feedback, right? And I used to think in the past that, if I ask the client for feedback, it's like I lose the frame. It's like I'm the expert. But if you can ask them from the standpoint of how can you make their life better, they will love this. Like they will absolutely love this, because you can literally ask them, look, it's been great so far. We've got you this outcomes, you've been great to work with. Is there anything else that we could do from our side to help you increase the chance of you getting to your goal of 100K? And in many cases, they'll just say no. But in others, it's like, yeah, well, I love your sales process. Do you mind if you teach that to us? And then it's like, okay, perfect. There's another area for getting better results. And if you keep doing this week over week, you're just going to build this insane amount of feedback that you can just use to make your product better. Like when I was running the appointment setting agency, at first I was just getting bookings for them. But then I saw that a lot of my clients, they weren't closing deals. So what I did was, I spoke to them, I got feedback, and a lot of them said, they would just love some sales training. So for some clients, they paid like an extra 1, 2, 3K a month, and we just helped them with sales. So I got into regular meetings, I helped them handle objections, I gave them a script, I gave them all these things to help them, get better. So this is how you're going to structure your calls on a weekly and then eventually after a month, bi-weekly basis. Now, step number 6 is called documenting your delivery mechanism. So at this point, there's 2 sides that you could be on. So either this is the first time you're doing this, right? And you're figuring out how to get results, or you've done it before and you're just doing the same thing. But in either one of these cases, if you don't have exactly what you're doing step by step, completely documented, then you need to follow this step. So what I mean by this is that for every process in the business, you want to have a step-by-step process, a step-by-step document explaining how to get the outcome. So let's say the first process is onboarding, right? This is one of the components of the system. Now, onboarding involves multiple steps, right? These are each little processes. So for example, the processes of onboarding may be, okay, send contract, invite to Slack, send payment. Like each one of these steps, they need to be clearly documented on exactly how to do it. So some examples in our case was, when we onboarded a client, we need to write a script for them. So it's like, okay, this is the script writing document. So how do you actually pick the niche? How do you actually get the case studies? How do you actually present the actual text? And the important part about this, and the reason that you absolutely need this, is because firstly, you need to actually remember what you're doing for every new client, because we forget things. It's normal. So you need to have like a checklist for doing it. But at the same time, this is how you're going to get out of the day-to-day. So if you have the goals of having a team, of scaling, of doing anything, you need to have other people do what you're currently doing. So by you documenting it now, you're doing it for yourself, but then also once you have a team, they can follow this document. So what I want you to do is for every part of the business, and I'll put some examples on screen of some SOPs, this is what we call it, so that you can just like model how it looks. What I want you to do is for every process in your delivery, I want you to document exactly how you do it. And then the thing is, most people don't understand this. Obviously, you do it for yourself so you remember. Then you can give it to your team. But at the same time, by you documenting everything that you're doing in a systematic, logical format, so like if this happens, then do this, not only can you give it to team members, you can also give it to software. So this is exactly how it works in coding, right? I used to do programming when I was younger. This is how you can create a machine that runs without you. Because if you're documenting your process as a step-by-step thing, there's nothing stopping you from using a tool like Zapier or some automation tool, plugging it in there and just having the system run by itself, right? Like most people don't understand this. So this is how softwares are created. You're just taking a process that's done manually and having it done by a machine. So what can happen eventually is that a large part of your agency can be completely done by machines, by software, without any team involvement. And the costs are zero. So essentially you just have robots doing your delivery for you without you. And step 7 is scaling. So what you've done now is you've got a client on board, you've set the expectations, you've got them going, you've been updating them as you go along, you found your delivery mechanism, you found something that works. Once you found something that works, you started documenting it. And now as you're signing new clients, it can just be done over and over systematically by either yourself, by either a team member, or by software, right? And the next step is just scaling it. So what this involves is obviously ramping up acquisition, so getting more clients in. So going from signing a client per month to a client every 2 weeks to a client every week, or even to the point where you're signing nearly a client a day. And if you're doing this, obviously the operations, it's going to stretch it a lot. So you need to make sure everything in the back end is dialed in. So the next steps in order to get to 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 150K is just adding more to the actual system. And this involves hiring, it involves training, it involves, a lot of other processes, both on the acquisition side, but also on the operation side. And by doing these final components, this is how you can get to the 50, 100, 150K, get out of the day-to-day so the business just runs by itself. And essentially you can just have, a cash flowing asset that you own. And I say own on purpose because you're not actually working in it. It's just running by itself. And you can get to the point where, you have the freedom, whether it's time, whether it's money. And honestly, you can just be anywhere, do anything you want, and, just have that ideal situation that most people have when they start the agency. So this would obviously be way too long to put in a YouTube video. And this is what we cover in our program right now, where I work with agency owners one-on-one in helping them go from 0 to 10K, 10K to 50K, for many people 50K to 150K and beyond that too. So if you want more information on me, how it works, you can just check the link in the description and then watch the video for more information.